guys, it is Tristan with Nerdud's Newsstand, and today we are going to talk about the very first interview that JD has done since all of this insanity has went down. Now, it is kind of framed around the release of Minamata, which is happening in Japan very soon, I believe next month. Unfortunately, we still don't have a release date in America yet, but that doesn't mean you can't see the movie. And I will have a review up sometime this week. I am interested in seeing how it is handled, and I think it absolutely deserves a real release, even if it doesn't make a massive amount of money, which I don't see it doing. But it still does deserve to be told. And it's not even a movie that is silly or something like that. The reason it deserves to be released is because the story is based off true events, and it deserves to be told for the people of Minamata. Now, with all of that being said, I want to talk about the interview because there is a lot said, and it's kind of a big deal. It's the first time we've seen him really talk to anybody since everything went down, since 2019 for the most part. So we have this interview, and this is from the Times in the UK. It is behind a paywall, but hey, free trials are a thing for a reason, right? So basically, one of the lines in the movie says, from Eugene, the part he plays, says, "I'm done. I'm tired. My body is older than I am. I'm always in goddamn pain. I can't trust my fucking dick anymore. Constantly in a foul mood. Even the drugs bore me." That's when you know it's really bad, right? And he was asked, does that resonate with him? And he said, "That's interesting. I didn't approach playing Smith in that way, Eugene Smith. Although you bring your toolbox to work and use what is available. Having experience, dun, 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 of course, remember for the entirety of this interview, he cannot talk about anything related to the trials. He can't really even hardly allude to it. Of course, there is a way to get around, how he's speaking. Like right here, he says, a surreal 5 years. Any talk about the trial could put the trial in jeopardy. So he does a very good job of actually avoiding it. They do this over Zoom, by the way, and they kind of describe him as somebody that was off to work at the London dungeon, which is kind of a good way to put it. So he says, talking about Minamata, right? How do we do it? He asks rhetorically, meaning how to speak about the elephant in the Zoom, right? We all know what he's talking about. Well, there's no way one can recognize the absurdity of the mathematics, if you know what I mean. No, absurdity of media mathematics. Again, talking in riddles, I have to allude to this because I cannot actually speak on the fact. Whatever I've gone through. But ultimately, this particular arena of my life has been so absurd. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. Again, he trails off, and then he comes back to say what the people in Minamata dealt with. People who suffered with COVID, a lot of people lost lives. Children sick, children ill. Ultimately, in answer to your question, yeah, you use what you've got. But what I've been through, that's like getting scratched by a kitten comparatively. I absolutely love that answer. Yes, you bring your toolbox to work. You work from real life. But what these people went through and the reason why they're telling the story of Minamata is simply because it needs to be told. And it is a big deal. And he said, comparatively, I love that picture, by the way. Comparatively, it's nothing, right? And I would disagree. There's a lot of what he's been through, but what they went through is absolutely disastrous. But that doesn't negate what he went through also. So, again, They talk about who Depp was, right? He was a heartthrob. He was edgy. He was all these things. But we also have Andrew Levitas. And if you remember, I talked about him before when he was trying to get the movie released. He's also in the line, right? And he says, with regards to journalism, it's important for us to put across the film with the power of truth. The responsibility of journalists to look after citizens of the world. Our film coincided with the moment important publication had to put Raquel Welch on a cover to get enough eyeballs to sell enough ads in order to put something meaningful inside. A result of that is clickbait. It's destroying the purpose of journalism. And I would say it's probably destroyed, not destroying, but it's true even and I don't know necessarily in journalism, I can't speak to that, but even on YouTube, if you don't clickbait something, you won't get recognized. You have to make everything sensational or you don't get recognized. Think about generally other type of content I do, right? So comics. I can try and say, look, right now, using Detective Comics as an example, is absolutely fantastic and do review after review on it. And it'll do okay. It'll do average. But if I hate something and clickbait the title, it will do 5 times as much. People love the drama of it all. People love the idea of that hate. And it's really, really unfortunate. So he said, Depp goes on to say, you said it beautifully. Ironically enough, right? Because they talk about having to put Raquel Welch on the front, who I looked her up now because I haven't heard that name in so long, and she's 80 years old. Raquel Welch is 80 years old. Oh my goodness. So anyways, basically, Johnny Depp was also one of those they put on the covers just because Johnny Depp was so damn beautiful, right? So women bought it. Now, Levitas goes on to say, it's important that the movie gets seen and supported, Levitas says, and if I get an inkling, it's not going to be, it is my responsibility to say so. Where it goes from there, I don't know, but we have a responsibility to these victims. And I think that's really cool that he's actually using this not as I want my movie out because it is about a pirate, just using that as an example, or it's about this. He's talking about the responsibility to the victims, not to Johnny. And I respect that a lot. So Johnny Depp goes on to say, we looked these people in the eyeballs and we promised them we would not be explorative. The film would be respectful. I believe that we kept our end of the bargain, but those who came in later should also maintain theirs. Agreed. Some films touch people, and this affects those in Minamata and the people who experience similar things. And for anything, for Hollywood boycott. For Hollywood's boycott of Johnny Depp, one man, one actor is an unpleasant and messy situation over the last number of years. But, I'm moving toward where I need to go to make all that. And again, he trails off to bring things to light. That's about the best he can say. And I apologize if my bane is loud in the background. He is demanding attention and I am not giving it to him, and he is not happy with me right now. So he goes on to say, they have always been my employers. Now we're talking about the fans. We're talking about the people that have supported his movie. We're talking about the people that have went to every opening or one opening. Doesn't matter. The people that support JD. They've always been my employers. They are all of our employers. They buy tickets, merchandise. They made all of these studios rich, but they forgot that a long time ago. I certainly haven't. I love that. I love that. Time and time again, I said actors are jesters. Put on a pretty show, say something funny, do something moving, and move on. We don't need to know much more than that. I'm proud of these people because of what they are trying to say, which is the truth. The truth they're trying to get out there, since it doesn't in mainstream media publications. Absolutely. It's a long road that sometimes gets clunky, sometimes just plain stupid, but they stayed on the ride with me. And it's for them I will fight. Always, to the end, whatever it may be. I really respect that. It shows he's got a lot of respect for his viewers, his people, the people that have supported him time and time and time again. It shows that respect level, and I think that's really good. And I think it's really rare that someone remembers that it hasn't gotten forgotten in the fray. And a lot of times anymore it does. So he goes on to say he looks forward to the next few films that he makes in a way because kind of not going into the whole point. The way they wrote in The Wizard of Oz is that you see behind the curtain. It's not him. When you see behind the curtain, there's a whole lot of motherfucking squish in one spot, all praying that you don't look at them and notice them. And I think that's a good way to kind of symbolize what's going on in his court case right now. And it's not just Amber, though she is the biggest perpetrator of the, fraud that we've went over and over again. But there's a few of them. There's a whole lot of motherfuckers squished in one spot. And hopefully that curtain gets pulled back, not just for people like me and you, for the mainstream media. The mainstream media doesn't care. They don't want that cancellation. They don't want the trouble of going to bat for somebody. And even if they're right, having an opinion that's contrary to most. It's really a shame. The media died long ago. Like, they talk in this article specifically about the media should protect. The media hasn't done that in a very long time. The media hasn't. But it's also given birth to stuff like clickbait, and that's really unfortunate. So I thought this was really good for a kind of return to normal for him, and I'm hoping it leads to more. I'm hoping it leads to more insight as to what's going on, and of course, it's probably going to not. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the truth of the matter when it comes to the upcoming trial, right? He's got to be so careful. So careful. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.